Hello, my name is Jason Randall, and this is my submission for round one of the interview process for WANDR agency. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to be considered for this role, as I am quite impressed with the clientele roster and quality of work that WANDR has produced. I would welcome the opportunity to work with such a talented group of creatives, and it is my hope that I've got what it takes to become a part of the team. The instructions in the brief were to produce a deliverable design of a mobile application which clearly articulated key data, had an intuitive user flow, and creatively illustrates to the user the dramatic outcomes that can be produced with slight changes in BPS. Requirements were that it must look visually pleasing, convey the information immediately, and that regulations mandated that all the information contained in the graphic be included. I set out to solve this problem first by researching existing financial applications. I wanted to look at them and find out if there was any sort of overarching theme between financial applications, and what I found was that blue was a very common color theme. With this in mind, I also went and searched online for any web presence that the client may have to see if there was any commonality in theme. The website that I found was not only ugly as sin, but did not appear to be the same client, as the majority of this is dedicated to real estate investing rather than capital investment. Since no brand standards guide was provided, I thought it best to follow a color scheme similar to what was presented in the design brief, working off the assumption that the client had already chosen these colors in the past. Current design trends have begun to veer away from strictly flat 2D objects, so I wanted to add a color palette that had several shades within a similar spectrum. Additionally, since it wasn't mandated to copy the colors exactly, I exercised some creative license in using more vibrant colors than what I sampled from the PDF. Given that many financial applications do lean toward blue themes, I decided to follow suit, so I went over to color.adobe.com and began with an analogous color theme. From there, I played around with it until I found the combination of colors that would pop but retain a corporate feel. Since the client is a traditional corporate business dealing with finance and wants the most important information to be immediately visible, I opted to iterate on ideas with a simple, clean aesthetic common to most corporate websites and apps. Using the design brief provided, I began to sketch out a couple of concepts on paper to illustrate the basic layout of each app screen. I thought it most prudent to start with the baseline information and to make separate screens for both the plus 50 and plus 100 BPS, respectively. The brief was very clear that all the information in the graphic must be included in the design, but I found that shoehorning all of it into every screen was not only cumbersome, but made it overly busy, distracting from the key objective. To solve this problem, I opted to make separate screens for baseline, plus 50, plus 100, and the disclosures of source information. To help most easily facilitate user flow, I wanted to be sure that all the navigation functions had some dimensionality to them, while the rest of the information was presented in 2D. By now, any mobile user is familiar with the hamburger menu navigation, so I took my design into Illustrator and began to lay it out. I created a hamburger menu to easily switch between the various screens and added shadows to give it some depth. I followed the common theme of using shadows to indicate areas of the screen which contained interactivity. I followed the original color coding, making plus 50 blue, plus 100 green, while keeping baseline colors grayscale. I wanted to clearly highlight the drastic increase in savings with each glide path, so as each increase is selected, I use the vibrant colors to draw attention to the additional savings amounts and the estimated additional time it would allow for withdrawal. I used the turquoise color to highlight which button or page was currently selected, as well as to illustrate which glide path was being demonstrated for each example. Once I had the layout done, I took everything over into Sketch and began prototyping. To remove any stumbling blocks in navigation, I also made the small colored bars above the demographic assumptions chart into buttons so the user could easily compare the benefits of each package. Given that all the other pages had more than one option to take the user to another section, I added navigation buttons below the body copy of the disclosures page to make navigation simple. From there, it was simply a matter of using the prototyping function to ensure all the screen transitions flowed in a logical manner. Using the preview function, I tested all of the transitions and button functionality to ensure a smooth flow and natural movement. I performed some user research, allowing a couple of my friends to test drive my application prototype and ensure that they were easily able to navigate through the application without any sticking points. This is what I would present to the client as a deliverable, and then of course make whatever changes they saw necessary based upon their feedback. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. I'm extremely hopeful that what I presented here will get me through to the next round. I would love to work at an agency that has such great clientele and is already producing such phenomenal work. I am available for interviews immediately and welcome the opportunity to meet and determine fit. Thanks again. Again, my name is Jason Randall. Thank you for your time.